Okay, race fans, welcome to week 4. We're getting into the meat and potatoes of this season here now, as week 4 brings us to Virginia International Raceway, a track that's seen a ton of changes over the last, let's say 20, 30 years, from one point in time being run down and closed to being revitalized, and now one of the destination tracks for a lot of SCCA type racers in America. Tonight, we get some excellent conditions out there for qualifying, as our drivers are in qualifying right now. 82 degree temp in the air, 97 degree track temp. It's actually a little cooler than what it was in the practice sessions that I ran in the officials earlier this week, Rich. I actually got out, did a few practice laps to see what the drivers would be dealing with this week at VIR. So I'm prepared here to razz them fully, knowing exactly what's going on. But I'm Rob Campbell. I'll be running production and commentary in the booth again. With me as usual is Mr. Richard Swindells. Rich, let's get a word from you on VIR. Love it or hate it? I know it's a bit of a track that kind of people either really like or seem to really despise.
Love it. As long as you survive it. Getting off on the grass can be deadly. But it's an old track. It's been around for a long time. Lots of technical sections, lots of elevation changes. You've got you got the horseshoe turn 1, NASCAR bend turn 3, left hook. You're going up through Snake, coming into South Bend and Oak Tree where there is no oak tree. The back straight leads up into roller coaster. Yeah, I mean it's got everything, Rob. It's got everything. The one thing it doesn't have, paved runoff. So you got to stay on track or you're going to have a bad day.
Yeah, definitely. Our drivers nowhere to run and hide out there tonight, Rich, as we'll see here shortly. But we should probably take a look at the schedule to see how we've gotten to this point in time. As we started at Daytona, it took us to Fuji and Spa for rounds 2 and 3. Round 4 took us to VIR, where we are now. Next week, we head to Misano for the actual halfway mark in the season. Magny-Cours, Interlagos, Road America, Silverstone, and Nürburgring, the Grand Prix layout, going to round off the season. I gotta say, all those tracks except for Interlagos are tracks that I'm a big fan of. So looking forward to the rest of the season so far.
Yeah, I've never seen Misano myself, but I like the rest of them, and I love Interlagos. So hey, we got one or two of us.
Well, Misano is another one of those grade A F1 type tracks where it's very flat, wide open spaces and so forth, a lot of runoffs. But I don't know, it's just something about the track I like. A lot of people don't seem to be a big fan of it since it's come to iRacing. It's one of those tracks that really sees a drop in participation when it comes up on a schedule. But you know what? I like it.
Well, you're the boss, so that's all that matters, Rob.
Well, speaking of that, we should probably take a look at the championship standings that we got going on, Rich. 3 classes battling it out here this season. Let's take a look at our AM field, where Pete Mejia, we're speaking off camera, leading the way in the AMs. He's got 1 point ahead of Josh Goen, and Josh another 13 points up at Roy Brown. So top 3 spots, still very tight in the AM side. Dave Jensen, Kevin Berquist a little ways back. Neil Alexander, Mark File, Guillermo Pere, Tyler Pastor, and Jacob Fichtner round out the top 10 on the AM side. Then we'll bring up the Pro-Am side here, and we'll let Rich talk us through what we're looking at there.
Yeah, and the Pro-Am side, Jay Steffi's got himself a nice 21-point lead over David Bush III. In third place, we've got Herbert Pineda, followed closely by Andrew Venaro. Then we have Jason Park, followed closely by Tyler Graff. Patrick Farrell in 7th. He's also tied with Tyler Graff, with Josh Wachinski just a few points back. Then Nicholas Goen just a few points back for him in 9th, and Tony Costello rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, nice grouping of cars there in the top 10. And then we got one last class left for the drivers. That's our pro category, where Matt Stadnick, last season's fixed champ in the sprint side of things, leading the way here on the pro side. 5 points up on Jack Hedgecokes. In second place, Jim Flees, not too far back, another 4 points back of him. Bit of a drop off to Caleb Lieben, Kevin Simpson, and J.R. Williams, all tied for 4th place there, Rich. So bit of a logjam for 4th place in the pro side of things.
Yeah, I think once the drops work their way out, we may have a real close battle there.
Yeah, and then speaking of battles, we got a team championship here, Rich. What do we got shaping up over there?
Yeah, we've got SRTE. They always represent here SRTE purple. So right now, sitting in first place at 303 points. Go and Racing representing all three classes, sitting in second right now, about 28 points back. And then we have SRTE yellow in third, followed by the Madworks Lunatics. Riot Motorsports rounds out the top 5, followed by Millennium Motorsports in 6th. Then we have SRTE red, SRTE black, SimCity Racing, and SRTE blue rounding out your top 10.
Yeah, you could almost say we've got all the colors of the rainbow on the SRTE side. Rich showing their dominance right now on the team side of things. But Nicholas Goen, speaking of dominance, our top Pro-Am driver right now, got himself in 5th place. His strong showing last week actually ended up taking the win I can't remember who it was, ran out of fuel at the end, and he was able to take the spot. I think it was Ross Sortino potentially, and Nicholas was there to snatch that victory away. So well done for him. But Caleb Lehman in the Mercedes up top, it's kind of a note that I noted when I was doing some practice earlier this week, Rich. The Mercedes really strong this week, and no surprise, we got a couple of them up top right now with Caleb Lehman leading the way.
Yeah, the Mercedes is not necessarily my favorite car, but Caleb Lehman's obviously found some good pace with it, and J.R. Williams really liking that car so far this season and having some good results. But I find it interesting, Goen Racing sitting in second overall right now. They've got drivers 4th and 5th in qualifying as of right now, Rob.
Yeah, interesting stuff there, Rich. But, this looks like we lost Caleb Lehman for a moment there. Let's pop back to Joshua Chinsky, our second place Pro-Am driver. Nice showing for him, up in the top 10 comfortably, sitting in 7th place. I should take a mention, our pro leader right now, I guess overall leader too as well, Matt Stanek, himself up into 3rd place. Nice showing for the Porsche. Looks like it's going to be a bit of a German machinery battle up top with Mercedes, Porsche, BMW, then McLaren, then another BMW in the top 6. So 5 of the top 6 cars, all German manufacturers.
Yeah, but we've got a Corvette in 7th, Rob, and that's what matters. We've got to have some American-made cars up here, too. So we've got a few Corvettes out, and we're just finishing up qualifying as we follow around with Matt Stadnik. Going to be a good battle tonight, I think, Rob.
Yeah, it should be a strong one. Number of drivers we've seen being competitive, again, up near the front. David Bush III, another driver who we've seen the last couple of weeks there. I think you've mentioned it last week, Rich, where hasn't qualified all that well, but he's been able to find the race pace and work his way up through the front. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to do that again this week. Currently sitting in 18th place.
Yeah, that will be interesting. It's going to be tough here at VIR. There are, a couple of places to pass, but man, it's so dangerous with no runoffs and whatnot, and 45 cars, I believe, in the field. So, be interesting.
Yeah, it's tight confines. We've raced here a number of times, Rich, and the trickiest part, I think, to me, is actually when you're, I don't know if you actually consider it exiting the snake section or what, but that quick left-hander just comes sweeping through. In certain cars, you can go through there full out. In other cars, you have to kind of lift, and some even have to brake a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see. I had to brake when I was out driving this week doing my testing, so I suspect a lot of the drivers will have to do that too as well, but it would just be a matter of time here. The GT3s have a fair bit of aero on them, which will come into play in a lot of corners, especially in Oak Tree, where they'll be trying to send it in there as hard as they can and not go off left, as it is a bit of a blind corner there. You kind of have to really trust your rhythm and your feel in that section.
Yeah, it's a little bit off camber, and it's really, I've always found it to be a feel location. You're not hitting exact marks. You're just trying to keep that car balanced.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So apologies for the sound there. Looks like we had a little bit of an echo on your end there, Rich. Looks like I've had it fixed up now according to chat. So hopefully that stays good in the way it is. But timing and scoring's clicked over. Let's take a look at the grid here, Rich, which takes through the top 12.
Yeah, sitting on pole tonight, we've got Caleb Lehman from SRTE Red, followed in second closely by J.R. Williams. Matt Stadnik rounds out your top 3 with Jack Hedgecoats in 4th. Then we have Nicholas Goen, followed by Kevin Simpson, Joshua Chinsky, followed by Dave Manoa. Then we have Brett Thurman and Josh Goen rounding out the top 10.
That's going to bring us to Jay Steffi in 13th place. Alex Hillman, our second place AM driver, got himself firmly in the top 15. Nice showing by him. And Joshua Spears in 15th, Patrick Farrell going to start 16th. Jason Park in 17th. David Bush III going to roll off in 18th place. Andrew Venaro and Seb Gauthier going to round out the top 20. Kevin Bergquist in 21st with Tony Costello in 22nd. Jacob Fichtner in 23rd. And Ian Cabana going to round out the top 24 drivers.
Yeah, then we have Javi Sierra in 25th, followed by Colin McKenzie in 26th. Brett Pancari is in 27th, followed by Jared Keane. Herbert Pineda sitting 29th, followed by Roy Brown. Then we have Dave Jensen, followed by Andrew Trickett in 32nd. Pete Mejia in 33rd, followed by David Morse. Dale Peterson and Guillermo Perret round out your top 36.
We still got more. In 37th goes Sean Provo, James Hand in 38th, Tyler Pastor in 39th. Neil Alexander makes the official top 40. Robert Jeffries in 41st. Sean Mulholland won't grid up. That's our league admin. Christopher Rhines in what will be 42nd. Mark File in 43rd. And Nate Adair going to round out the 44-car field here this evening. So excellent turnout here by our drivers, Rich. 44 cars at VIR. Can only spell one thing: excitement.
Yeah, it's going to be jam-packed excitement, and we've got a full pace lap here, Rob, so we're getting pretty used to getting through these 45 to 50 names in a race and getting through quickly. And this week we finally actually had a little bit of breathing room, and we're going to be able to actually watch these cars go around, warm up their tires, get a little reconnaissance of the track and the track conditions.
Yeah, no doubt. It's be interesting to see. I know iRacing made some changes a while back. They brought in the new tire model for the GT3s, where it was really kind of, I don't want to say knife edge. The GTP tire model is really knife edge, where you really have to monitor the tire temps on your outlap, not to cook them, or I guess not cook them, not to lose the back end early on. And the GT3 tires, they brought out the new model where it was really kind of dicey at the start. A lot of drivers were having trouble adjusting to it. And then they took and adjusted the tire temps, the starting tire temps on them, and made it more similar to what it is for the cars that do standing starts, like a lot of your Formula cars, the Porsche Cup, and that set of machinery out there. So it's adapted a little bit. A lot of our drivers able to push a little harder at the start, and interesting to see a real twisty track like VIR. What drivers really push the envelope here, Rich, and try and get out to a real quick start on those cold tires.
Yeah, especially when they're going into turn one, which is that big right hand, basically 180-degree turn, and tire temp is going to be critical, and you're going to need all the grip because they're going to be going 2-3 wide through there. So it's going to make for an interesting start, especially with all these tire changes. We'll see who has adapted the best.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I know the Mercs are strong. We've got a number of Corvettes actually up towards the front. That's nice to see, Rich. I know you're a big Corvette fan. So a lot of the tracks we've been to so far, the Corvettes have kind of struggled a little bit. But we've got, say, 3 of them potentially in the top 15. So nice showing by the American muscle side of things here. We got one Ford up in the top 15 too as well with Felix Feliz. But actually, we don't have a whole lot of Fords in general in the session compared to what we had last year. So interesting to see what the kind of makeup of the different manufacturers is towards the front end of the field as the race bears on here and tires start to wear and heat up. But they're on the back straight now here, Rich, heading up into Hog Pen, and then it'll be a matter of time before the race is underway.
Yeah, this is the longest part of the track, or the longest straightaway, certainly. Big uphill, and then it kind of dips a little downhill. It goes back uphill again, leading up into a roller coaster. It's going to be roller coaster is always an exciting place, and turn 14A, that's where we may see some late passing attempts later on tonight.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see their long runs. It's a decent sized straight, but it is uphill and then actually comes downhill and then uphill again. So it's tough to get a real good run. You got to really get a great run out of Oak Tree to get a run down that straight to make a move, Rich. But we see somebody spinning there. I believe that was. We're trying to pick up who that was, falling back through the standings. It was one of the Crikey Esports car. I think it might have been Ian Cabana. See if we can pick up what happened to him. But the race is getting underway as we're heading to green flag with Caleb Lehman and J.R. Williams on the front of the grid, ready to roll. There we go. Green is out. We're underway. 45 minutes of GT3 racing at one of the best tracks in America, Virginia National Raceway. I said it. I'm going to stick to it. J.R. Williams looks up the inside of Caleb Lehman. Overcooks it into turn one. He's going to go off track, lose a ton of time. Still falling back to the standings. 15th, 16th place potentially here. So I just mentioned that some drivers going to try and push it on those cold tires, Rich. We just saw what happened with J.R. Williams.
Yeah, going through a horseshoe there, that cost him dearly. I mean, first we had the little bit of an incident there going on the pace lap, but we're back underway. Matt Stadnik following along closely behind Caleb Lehman. These cars nose to tail. Got another car back off in the background, but looks like everybody else is fairly comfortable as we're going up the straightaway here, leading up in towards Snake, going through, coming up into South Bend. This is always the interesting part here, Rob. Looks like, they're not having to lift too much.
First time into Oak Tree, Rich. We're going to really see who's pushing it, who's cooking the tires in here. Jack Hedgecox goes out wide, holds it on just on the edge of the curb there. Thought for a minute he was going to drift out wide, so it looks like your top 10 so far navigating through Oak Tree fairly well the first time. Jim Feliz in 9th place, kind of leading that secondary pack as we already had 2 packs form up here on the first lap.
Yeah, it's been an interesting first lap, but everybody here is, kind of nose to tail. I think some of these people got stuck behind a little bit of incidents there that were going on in the first few corners. We're watching Jim Feliz. Jim Feliz making a hard charge. We're coming up into roller coaster. This is really tough spot to pass. It looks like everybody's sorted themselves out. We're going to remain to fight another corner.
Yeah, the battle of the Feliz is not related other than, I just caught something. Jim Feliz got some major damage on the front end of his car. I wonder if he might have got caught up with that car that spun early on, Rich, but I'll take a quick look here while we watch this and see if Jim Feliz was flagged for anything, but not seeing anything pop up immediately here, so it'll be interesting to see or eventually hear what happened to him, that he's lost the front end and got a fair bit of damage. He was able to hold off Felix Feliz's charge, though, up roller coaster. Not sure how much longer he's going to be able to hold on with that aero damage on the front end.
Yeah, it's definitely not ideal circumstances. Matt Stadnik a little bit loose there, a little bit of might have been a little bit of bump, but Matt Stadnik into the lead now ahead of Caleb Lehman. We're coming up through Snake here, and it looks like these guys are well underway. This 7-8 car pack is broken away from the guys behind.
Yeah, it's Jim Feliz leading the secondary pack, but I think he's only being a little bit of the cork in the bottle at this point in time. They might be further ahead if Felix Feliz jumps around him, and then Jim can stay tucked in the draft. That might help him a little bit with that aero damage, but up front, Caleb Lehman thought about looking to the inside of Matt Stadnik into Oak Tree. Stadnik was able to defend that, but now the question is Lehman going to get a run down the back straight here to make a move up into roller coaster?
Yeah, it's all about the exit. I don't know if Caleb got the exit he was looking for, but he's certainly going to make a charge. He's a quarter of a second behind. This straightaway really closes down quick, and there's just not an opportunity here at this stage.
Yeah, looks like not going to do it right now. Lead pack still staying pretty status quo, nose to tail here. Looks like they're content just to continue to break away from the rest of the pack right now, but Jim Feliz looks like he's falling down the field here, Rich. As he's off again, he's going to tow back to the pits, so a bad start getting even worse for Jim Feliz.
Yeah, Jim's night is over, unfortunately for him. Not something we wanted to see. Let's take a look and see if we can find out what happened here, Rob.
Yeah, it looks like he's battling with Felix Feliz. A little bit, it looks like neck coat, a tiny touch. Oh, that was a heavy hit into the tire wall. We see exactly why there he had to tow, so rough race for Jim Feliz. One he's going to chalk up into the not a fan of VIR category, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm a fan, but I've had those kind of results here myself, even though I am a fan. It doesn't seem to care or give you extra kudos for liking the place, unfortunately. We're back up in the middle of the pack here. We're up towards the front third. David Bush third. He's in 16th place right now. David Bush just up 2 positions, having himself a good little battle. He's got that Lambo working. He's trying to make some advancements and do what he does best, which is close and move up as the race progresses.
Yeah, he's picked up 2 spots right now. I should actually take and throw the intervals up. I just realized I didn't have it on there, but let's take and throw the positions gained up there too as well. Let's see who our biggest mover is right now. It looks like Andrew Trickett is our biggest mover and shaker right now. Rich got himself up 8 positions. So Trickett currently trying to put some pressure on Jacob Fichtner up ahead. Trickett in that all black with a little bit of yellow accents. McLaren actually see a pretty sharp paint job on that thing. I approve of that, Rich.
Well, of course, it looks gorgeous. Nice job. But it would be interesting to see, Rob. We're following up with Andrew Trickett here, sitting in 24th place. And now that Jim Feliz is out, it's interesting to see if Felix Feliz, who's about 4.5 seconds behind Brett Thurman, if he can close that gap down, because they were really well behind the first pack, and it's now or never. The race is only 45 minutes long, and they really got to start moving up.
Yeah, time starts ticking away pretty quick out here as take a look here at Kevin Simpson, currently sitting in 5th place. He's got the Pro-Am driver Nicholas Goen, our leader in Pro-Am, up ahead. He's got another Pro-Am in behind him, Josh Wachinski. So Kevin Simpson in a bit of a Pro-Am sandwich here right now, just trying to bide his time. We've seen Kevin excel at a number of tracks that he really likes, and then there's some other tracks that not a big fan of, that he kind of wishes to strike from the schedule. So we didn't get a chance to find out how he felt about VIR coming in this week, Rich, but I'm going to suggest sitting in P5. He's probably a fairly decent fan of it.
Yeah, we really appreciate Kevin's honesty and his comments in the booth when he gets that opportunity. We're going to go back on board here with Dave Jensen. Dave Jensen leading along with Brett Pancari behind him. These drivers coming through Snake and going up the long back turn 7, 8, 9 sequence here. I really love this section of the track, Rob. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah, I know I keep harping on it. The people either like it or hate it, but I think it's probably one of the best looking tracks. Just the scenery around it and the elevation changes. I'm a big fan of tracks with a lot of elevation changes. I think that's why I like VIR. But Dave Jensen, strong showing by him right now. Himself up 3 spots, trying to chase down Herbert Pineda. Up ahead, he's got Brent Pancari. Brent probably wins the award for having the best team name. Solo driver on his team, but week in, week out, the High on Daisy powered by Project 91 car just makes me smile every time I see it.
Oh, 100%. And I love the name myself. I also like Cranky Motorsport. So, 2 of my favorite team names, and good job. And also, quite the paint job, Brett. It's not my style, but it's obviously your style, and we love it.
Can't go wrong with Princess Daisy, that's for sure. But let's take a look and see how our AM leader's doing. Pete Mejia started a little further back in the field, got himself up 3 spots right now, Rich, into 30th overall. That's also 7th in class, so a nice showing by him right now. He's got Brent Pancari, the driver we were just talking about, up ahead of him. He's also got David Morris in behind him, as we see Morris getting a little squirrely head in there. Had to give a little extra tap of the brakes to get the car collected up, but he's got it straightened back out again. He's going to try and keep chugging forward. Guillermo Pere not too far behind him too as well. So we've got a number of packs here setting up all across the track here. Most drivers separated by only a few tenths here and there, Rich. Other than that lead pack, the rest of the field fairly packed up.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive with 41 cars still on the lead lap and still outrunning on this course. VIR, very difficult, and so far most of these drivers are managing to get through everything just fine. Meanwhile, Matt Stadnick up front, going up the back straight. Matt Stadnick's opened up about a 7/10 gap to Caleb Lehman, managing to hold him off here. Caleb just a little bit too far back to close that door a little bit on the drafting here. But we're going to go through roller coaster, nice twisty section, downhill, hard left, another left, and then a big right-hand corner. You got to break it all the way out, then bring it right back in, use all the track here on the exit, leading up onto the front straightaway.
Yeah, it's a decent length lap, but very quick on the timing. I should probably make a mention. We got Joey Costello in chat. I mentioned that I was out on track earlier doing some practice this week, and I think I kind of found the room that the SRTE boys were practicing in, Rich. I thought I'd be coy and jump into like one of the German server rooms. I figured there probably wouldn't be anybody from Throttle Freaks in there. I could kind of see what kind of lap times I could do, compare them to the session, and it looks like there's a bunch of them in there. Matt Stadnick was in there. J.R. Williams was in there. I'm trying to remember who else. I think Joey Costello had put in some times. Jim Feliz was in there too as well. And let's just say I was competitive with them. I wasn't at the top, but I was competitive with them. So I feel confident here when I start razzing on them, Rich.
Well, there's a reason they have you in the booth, Rob. They're afraid of you. They're not afraid of me. I'm just here because I'm not good enough. So we're going to go back on board with Andrew Trickett in Piano Card Mania. Oh, pick Tyler Pastor. in the Lamborghini, Sean Provost having a little bit of a battle here, going through the little early sections of the track, going up through Snake.
Yeah, it looked like Provo dropped a couple tires into the dirt, had to gather it back up, lost that position to Pastor. That's going to put Pastor up 3 spots on the day. So nice run by him. He got himself up into 36 after qualifying in 39th. And he's going to try and hold off the charge now from Sean Provo. And Sean is going to try and want to get that spot back, no doubt.
Oh, that's 100%. You never want to lose position by going off track, but we're going to pick it up. Josh Goen, this could be an opportunity here. He's tucked it up on the inside. Is he going to be master of the late breakers? There's only room for one car here. No, he's just content just to ride it out here. But wow, this was close. No harm, no foul, no touch. Everybody's alive, and they're going to make it through, get around for the beginning of the next lap.
I thought for a minute there Hillman was going to miss his brake marker and get into the back of Goen. Not sure how much of Goen's mirror wasn't occupied by Porsche behind, but thankfully Hillman was able to get it slowed up. That's a battle for our top AM positions right now. 16th, 17th overall. It's also first and second in the AM class.
Yeah, that was a little bit scary, but the guys they know it's 45 minutes. They still got 35 minutes of racing to go. So we're going to pick it up. Tony Costello, I saw him in the background. It looked like he was making some hard charges there, but it looks like you said, Rob, the Mercs definitely have some pace here on this track tonight.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is about the Mercedes in this track. The Mercedes has never been a car that, GT3-wise, I'd really chalk up to being great in the twisty tracks, but it seems to be this season it's got a little bit of a buff. It's back to being competitive again. It's nice to see. It's a car that sounds great, but takes a very specific driving style, kind of similar to the Porsche, where you really either have to love the Porsche or hate it. It takes a very specific driving style to get some quick times out of it. And unfortunately for me, I can't find the quick times in the Mercedes. It just doesn't compute with my driving style. You see Costello holding a tighter line there, trying to get up in the inside of Andrew Venaro. Probably going to compromise his exit out of Oak Tree, but that Merc, known for having its strong legs, we'll see if he's able to reel back in the Ferrari.
Yeah, the Merc's got the great sound, but I think that's kind of like saying it's got a nice personality. I'm just not a big fan of the looks of the car, Rob, but it's certainly being very, very competitive tonight. And we're going to go back here with Andrew Trickett. Andrew Trickett's got a car. Wow, he's all over the back here. Is that Jacob Figner ahead of him, I believe?
Yeah, that's Jacob Fichtner ahead of him. He almost had Andrew Trickett in his, what would traditionally be the trunk, but I guess it'd be the bonnet on this car being a mid-motor car. He almost had a secondary McLaren power unit in his back end, but it's like Colin McKenzie, Javi Sierra, and Herbert Pineda not too far behind as this is the battle shaping up for 22nd overall. But Andrew Trickett now up 10 spots, Rich, on his day. Nice showing by him. Still our biggest mover. Last time we checked in, he was up +8. Now he's added 2 more positions.
Yeah, that's a fabulous day. He's having a great day, as is Robert Jeffries, way back in 34th. He's up 7 positions. So, there's gains to be made. You've just got to be clean. Robert Jeffries, thus far, doing what's needed to be done. He's not battling anybody right now, but he's certainly moving up the field.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's check back in on our leaders up ahead as we're back on board with Jack Hitchcokes. He's got Nick Goen not too far back from Kevin Simpson, falling back a little bit. He's back there with Joshua Chinsky, and I believe that is Dave Menino not too far back behind them. So a little bit of a breakup of the lead pack here. Stanek had opened up a bit of a gap. It looks like Caleb Lehman's starting to reel him back in slowly but surely up ahead. That Merc using its legs on the long straights to pull back in that Porsche.
Yeah, Caleb Lehman's just over a half a second behind right now at this stage. Oh, I love this section of the track, Rob. It's so technical. It's so easy to get it wrong, but when you get it right, nothing feels better on BIR. Following along, Caleb Lehman following along behind Matt Stadnick. We're going to go back. We got Tony Costello. Tony Costello battling it out at this stage and having himself a good little race.
Yeah, Costello's still trying to find a way around Venero up ahead. Venero making that already fairly wide Ferrari, a little bit wider than it was initially. Looks like Costello getting a nice run down the straight here. Let's see if he gets a chance to make a move into turn 1. Venero going to have to go defensive, I think, to hold him off. Costello late move up into the inside. Let's see if he can hold on to it. Venero later on the brakes, trying to close him out and drift a little wide. Costello moving to the inside, but Venero going to have the inside line into the next corner, as I think we just lost Brett Thurman into the pits. unfortunate day for Brett Thurman, but pop back here to that battle between Costello and Venaro as Alex Hillman up into this battle. So there's Joshua Spears out of nowhere immediately into this battle. Let's see if something happened to Joshua Spears, but he was nowhere in sight last time we checked in on Costello and Venaro. Here's what happened to Joshua Spears. Oh, he got into it with I think that was the 247. Maybe that was Jay Steffi up the inside there. Oh, and then you see he pulls right back out for Costello and Venaro. That explains exactly there, Rich, how he got inserted into that battle.
Wow, that was close. But man, look at that. What do we got? About 12 cars there, all in a line. Everybody within draft range of each other. It's just a big draft train at this stage of the race. Tony Costello, though, kind of liking what he's seeing. Seb Gauthier wanting to catch up and perhaps get up under the back of Kevin Berfkes.
Yeah, Gauthier on the tail end of this pack here, currently being led around by, I believe that's Alex Hillman at the front of this pack. So a lot of packs all throughout the race, all throughout the track here, Rich, but not much moving and shaking going on up top as Matt Stadnick still leading the way over Caleb Lehman and Jack Hedgecox, although Lehman still inching closer and closer each time by. Having a look at their last laps. Lehman with a 145.73 to Stadnick's 145.7, so almost running identical lap times. It's going to take a mistake from Stadnick at this point, looks like, for Lehman to fully close in and potentially take away that spot.
Yeah, Matt Stadnick going from amateur skipping the Pro-Am category and right up to pro and having himself a heck of a race thus far.
Yeah, he's had a strong season. That's why he's got himself up top of the standings 3 races in. You see him run a little wide through the exit of the snake into Oak Tree. That's okay. You don't really want to drop any more than that off into the tires, or of the tires into the grass. You end up going for a ride. I've actually seen cars come all the way across through the grass, Rich, onto the back straight and clear out some drivers in sessions before. So it's one of those things that can happen. It's funny as heck when it doesn't happen to you, but when it does happen to you, you're wondering where the heck that car came from. But thankfully for both of our top 2 drivers, Stadnick and Lehman, they were able to hold on to it through that section.
Yeah, that happened to me about 4 or 5 years ago when I first started iRacing, when the grass was a little bit slicker. But David Bush III applying some pressure here. David Bush looking at the back of Jason Park. Nothing happening just now, but these cars, we got the 5-car train here, all real close. It's just a matter of time before somebody gets impatient.
Yeah, we're not even halfway through this one, Rich, so still plenty of time for our drivers to try and find a way around the driver up ahead of them. But leading this pack is Jay Steffi. We saw Steffi got involved with Josh Spears not too long ago. I'm having a look. I don't really see any damage on the right front corner of Steffi's car, so I think it might have been a little more netco than anything else. So it looks like Steffi right now, aero-wise, okay, but he's feeling a ton of pressure from Jason Park in behind.
Yeah, I really like the livery Jay Steffi's got on that car as well, Rob. I'm a big fan of the paint jobs. Like I said, if you can't be fast, at least look good, and I'm a big proponent of that. These guys are both fast, and their cars are looking really good. Jay Steffi making a nice, clean little pass here, going up through Snake and coming up into the little bit of uphill straightaway section here.
Yeah, no doubt, as we see that battle working their way through there now. Steffi leading the way, but half the battle of going fast, Rich, is looking fast. If you look fast, that's half the battle right there. All you gotta do is put down a half-decent lap time afterwards, and you look like you know what you're doing.
Oh, that's for sure. David Bush III, I just wanted to comment on him. He's now sitting up 6 positions, so he's doing what he does best. Joshua Spears having himself a great battle, but Andrew Venaro cutting the nose off, getting around clean.
Yeah, it looks like Costello was able to get around Venaro eventually, but now Venaro having to deal with Joshua Spears. So we saw Spears a little further up at the sharp end of the field after that contact with Steffi's falling back to 17th place. So no doubt he's got some pace. We'll see if he makes the move up into roller coaster on Venaro. Not enough overrun to make it there, but he's going to stay tight in behind. If he can hold tight through the next couple of corners, they're going to have that front stretch where he can try and make a move into turn 1.
That is for sure. As they come back down through this section here, Joshua Spears charging hard. He's opened up a little bit of a gap with Kevin Berquist and behind, but it looks like Joshua Spears going into pits early tonight. getting out of
Interesting.
traffic.
Interesting move. We mentioned it before in other broadcasts, Rich. We're interested to see if anybody utilizes the undercut. Usually nobody really seems to take us up on that, but it looks like Joshua Spears, he might have been watching back the broadcast, thought, hey, maybe I'll try that strategy here tonight. But I found here where Tony Costello made a pass on Andrew Venaro, so let's see how he got himself finally up and around Venaro.
Oh, this is how he did it. A little bit of interference.
Yeah, he was able to capitalize on that rejoin by Joshua Spears that we looked at earlier. So nice run by Tony Costello, got himself up 7 spots now, up into 15th place.
Yeah, definitely a good run by him as we're following along with Colin McKenzie. Colin falling along behind Jacob Figner. Colin up 5 positions on the day, looking for more. Jacob up 3 positions, and Jacob's falling along behind Andrew Trickett. We got a big long train here of cars going up through South Bend, and Doug coming up into Oak Tree. Nice technical section. We'll see how Colin McKenzie handles this. You can get on the brakes. You got to do a little bit of trail braking. Ease it up. Drake strong exit, gets a decent exit out of there, all over the back now.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of run he gets here on Jacob Fichtner. Holding tight on the back end, showing the nose out. Not sure if he's going to get enough for a run to make this move. Almost alongside. It's going to be a matter of who breaks late here. Fichtner, if he can hold that position, will have the inside line in the next corner. Because he's going to have to go out wide. That's going to put him on the inside of the following corner. So you're going to make that pass. Fichtner backs out of it. Probably wise. You don't necessarily want to go into hog pen here too wide, Rich. Otherwise, you'll be in the hog pen with all the pigs.
Oh, that's for sure. Looked like Colin McKenzie was doing a little bit of NASCAR side drafting there and took advantage, a little bit of late braking, and got the job done.
Hey, going fast isn't just for NASCAR drivers, Rich.
We're gonna go back here and we see, Andrew Trickett in pits early here.
Yeah, our driver who had the most positions gained, he's going to come in for the undercut too as well. So interesting move by him. We'll see if he's able to pick up even more positions once that cycles through, Rich. Yeah,
well, the only time I like the undercut when there's no tires involved here. So the only time it's really good is if you're stuck in traffic, and perhaps Andrew thought he was stuck in traffic, came in, made an early pit stop, get back out maybe in some clean air and see what he can get done. We're going to pick it back up here. We've got Dave Menino following along behind Joshua Chinsky, Kevin Simpson, Nicholas Gowen. The big long train here, guys.
Yeah, 7-car train now. Looks like they've closed back in on the leaders, and they've got them all selves within the draft range. So this septuplet, I guess you would call it, Rich, all joined back up again. And behind Matt Stadnick, our leader, still holding on to top spot. Caleb Lehman sitting 1.3 seconds back. Actually looks like Stadnick's been able to open that gap up the last couple laps. We saw Lehman closing it in. Looks like Stadnick found another gear, 7th gear in that Porsche. It only has 6th gear, and he's hammered it down, and off he goes again.
Yeah, obviously this is a track that agrees with Matt's driving style and the Porsche, because he's really putting on a clinic thus far. It's just a matter of keeping consistent, running those clean laps, and he keeps doing it. I mean, nobody's got the pace he's had, and he's had it since the beginning.
Yeah, nice race management right now by Stadnick. Had himself starting up on the second row. Quickly made himself up into the front. Just check in on our pole sitter, J.R. Williams. We saw him unfortunately burn it a little wide into turn 1. Recovering a little bit here nicely, but he's right now stuck in the kind of the purgatory position here between packs. Got himself about 6 seconds back of that lead pack and another 9 seconds ahead of the, I guess we call it peloton if we were watching Tour de France. Rich, where Jay Steffi leading that trio of cars. Now it's kind of breaking away from the rest of the cars. Chase pack trying to catch up to the leaders, but Steffi leading Park and Bush the third. Not sure if they'll be able to reel in J.R. Williams. J.R. with a comfortable lead right now, 9 seconds over that pack.
Yeah, and J.R. Williams, even though he's not in the draft of anybody, he's still maintaining a great race pace, and he's right up there with the leaders of, Matt Stadnick and Caleb Lehman. So I don't think really, the draft does help you down the straightaway, but it kind of hurts you a little bit in the corners. So J.R. Williams using that open track space to his advantage right now. Yeah,
use it while you got it, I guess, right? But on board here with Caleb Lehman as he looks back at Jack Hedgecoats. A couple of Bavarian manufacturers here battling it out. Lehman in the Mercedes, Hedgecoats in the BMW. both cars that in seasons past, Rich, haven't been the most competitive, but in this season here, very competitive. We see Jack Hedgecock's getting real late on the brakes. They're into turn one, closes up on Caleb Lehman. Now we'll see what kind of pressure he can put on the back of Caleb Lehman. Caleb's, for the most part of this race, not had a whole lot of pressure from behind there, Rich. We'll see how he deals now with Jack Hedgecock's, who we've seen has a ton of pace in the first 3 races this season. We'll see what kind of pressure he can put on Lehman, possibly force a mistake to move himself up into second place.
Yeah, well, there we go. I mean, he put enough pressure and dusted, as you say, got by Caleb Lehman, making a little bit of a mistake going off track, and allows Nicholas Goen to get right up there. The Goen Racing teammates are really applying the pressure to Caleb Lehman at this stage.
Yeah, strong race right now, as you mentioned, for the Goen Racing team. 2 out of the top 4 positions held by those drivers, and if they can hold onto that spot, that's going to do them very well in the team's championship. But Nicholas Goen got Kevin Simpson on his tailpipe now too as well. Simpson trying to get involved in that battle up ahead, seeing the pace that Jack Hedgecock is able to extract out of his BMW up ahead. Simpson starting to get a little bit of taste, trying potentially to take that spot away from Nicholas Goen.
Yeah, and meanwhile, while all that's going on, we've got Josh Goen sitting in 12th overall, first in the amateurs. So Goen Racing having a fabulous night as we're 26 minutes into this 45-minute race.
Yeah, I don't think they can ask for much more of a result at this point in time, but Josh Goen has Felix Feliz in behind him. Felix looks like he's got a bit of damage on the front end of that Mustang. It's like the front hood and bumper caved in a little bit as Alex Hillman thought about trying to make a late move up the inside of Felix Feliz, potentially just trying to show the nose. Rich is a bit of a strategy, trying to force a mistake from Feliz, get him looking in his mirrors, maybe miss his brake marker, go off a little wide, but Feliz not buying at this point in time. Hillman going to have to try and find another way around.
Yeah, Hillman going wide and Felix Feliz diving into the pits. Time to get some fuel. Don't think he's going to have any time, though, to get any of that aero fixed, or not much of it, if any. Matt Stadnick also into the pits early.
Yeah, our leader, Matt Stadnick, in. Looks like he's going to come back out somewhere around 17th, 18th, maybe. So he is now our highest positioned driver who's come in for his pit stop. As we're past the halfway mark now, so we should start seeing more and more of our field coming in, Rich.
Yeah, it's. I think there's down to the next lap or two, and then they're going to all have to come in. But it looks like Nicholas Goen is still trying to catch up to Caleb Lehman at this stage. Nicholas having himself a very good race, but Caleb Lehman a little disappointed where he's sitting. Really does not want to give up any more positions after losing that to Jack Hedgecock.
Yeah, Hedgecock's taking that position away, but no doubt going to try and capitalize too as well. But VIR, a track where you can do some fuel saving, Rich. You got a number of straights here where you can really lift off quite a bit before you get into the corner, this back straight being one of them. So it'll be interesting to see if any of these drivers who have kind of been in these packs that we've been featuring, but doing any kind of fuel saving, can actually try and take a spot away from the driver ahead just based off strategy and fuel saving alone. So we'll see if any of these drivers pop in. Looks like Goen going to come in, Lehman coming in, Hedgecock's coming in, but Simpson, Chinsky, Menino going to go around for another lap. So speaking of fuel saving, these 3 drivers feeling confident they saved enough fuel for one more lap.
Yeah, Kevin Simpson is up in the lead now, and that extra lap may be just the difference. He's given himself a little bit of open track space ahead, but Joshua Trinsky saying, hey, I'm here. Don't get too confident.
Yeah, we talked to Chinsky last week. Sorry, I should say it was Chinsky that won the Pro-Am side of things with a fuel save or fuel error by one of our drivers on the last lap. So no surprise we're seeing him up at the sharp end of the field here again this week, but putting a ton of pressure on Kevin Simpson. So Chinsky feeling confident with that extra lap. He's got more than enough fuel to push the pace with Simpson up ahead.
Well, that Corvette's just, not only does it look good, but it's also very, very efficient on fuel, obviously. I just love it. Kevin Simpson coming around, but we're going to go back up with David Bush III. David Bush III sitting in 5th place right now. He has not pitted yet. David Bush following along behind Jason Park. Both these drivers, I'm guessing this may be their final lap. They must be running real light on fuel now at this stage as they're coming up into Oak Tree. Oak Tree, where the Oak Tree is now missing.
Yeah, I wish they would plant some kind of seedling there, even if they don't have it in real life. Just an iRacing in general, just in homage of the oak tree there. Just have a little seedling growing and growing. But speaking of fuel saving, David Bush III, a driver we mentioned all last season, very well on the fuel saving, where we've seen him take away a number of spots just on fuel saving alone. He's been tucked in behind Jason Park for the majority of the race here, so we'll see how quickly he gets in and out of pit road here. Something like happened to Ian Cabana potentially coming out of his pit cycle here. See what happened to Ian in through hog pen around the final corner. Oh, he's just going to lose it. Oh, a little tap of the wall. I thought he was almost going to say it. Oh no, coming back out on the track. There comes Simpson, Chinsky, and Menino in for their service there. So thankfully for them, they were coming in for service there. Otherwise, that might have been a little dicey with that car kind of sitting right in the middle of the track.
Yeah, and Ian Cabana, great sportsmanship, realizing he was in a precarious position. Ian Cabana towed to the pits, got out of everybody's way. So hats off, Ian.
Yeah, well done by him. That's going to move Matt Stadnik up top, but look who is right behind him now. Jack Hedgecox closing the gap through pit cycles. Let's take a look here at the pit stop time. Hedgecox with a 38.4 cone-to-cone time, 14.1 seconds in the stall, to Stadnik's 39.4 and 14.3 seconds in the stall. So almost a second and a half quicker for Jack Hedgecox in and off pit lane and in the stall. So hopefully he's got enough fuel to get himself to the end, because he's kind of been in draft for the majority of the race here, Rich. Hopefully he's taking that little bit of extra calculation into account when he did his fuel calculation coming in for the pit cycle. But right now, Stadnik's going to cycle back through up top as he's been from the start.
Yeah, I think Jack might be okay there, Rob. It looks like a lot of those gains were actually on the entry and exit, not necessarily in the stall. So we shall see.
Yeah, we'll check back in on that battle as it carries on. But we had a battle back here between Javi Sierra and Robert Jeffries. Sierra trying to look up the inside of Jeffries in the purple and gold Beano Cartorama car. Javi Sierra going to take that spot away, and that's going to move him up into 31st place, down 6 spots from where he qualified. So still on a bit of a recovery run. He's got Sean Provo now 6 seconds up the track. It's going to be a bit of a hike for him to try and close that gap down.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, but we're going to go back here with Jason Park. Jason Park leading along with David Bush third in behind him, and Jay Steffi. So these three cars having a nice close battle. David Bush looking up the outside, just sticking the nose out, not really making any moves right now, but getting it tucked up nice and close behind the back of Jason Park.
Yeah, Steffi was leading this trio before the pit cycles, but Bush and Jason Park were able to run that extra lap on fuel. It looks like that's got them around Steffi, but as they head down the front straight, Jay Steffi tucked in tight behind David Bush III. Not sure if he's going to be able to make a move on the inside, but David Bush III going to try and go around the outside here of Jason Park. We'll see if Steffi can throw it up on the inside, potentially take that spot away. He's going to try. Say he's going to succeed, Rich. That's going to move Jay Steffi back ahead of David Bush III, get him the final spot in the top 10.
Yeah, that's a difficult place to be for David Bush. You try to make that move to gain a position, you end up losing a position going around the outside of Horseshoe. The inside is usually the preferred line, and we saw that in evidence right there. Going back up with Matt Stadnik. Jack Hedgecox all over the back of him right now as they exit Oak Tree. It looks like Matt Stadnik got a little better exit, and Jack did not quite get the exit he was looking for in order to make any moves here at the end of this straight, but applying all kinds of pressure is Jack Hedgecox.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's getting enough for a run to make a move, although he's really gaining at the end. Let's see what kind of last-minute move he can make here. Like Stadnik going to cover off the inside. Oh, the little 0x bump there on the rear bumper by Hedgecox. Just letting Stadnik know he's there. They're going to continue on to battle here as the race goes on. It's an SRTE purple team battle with the Going Racing car of Jack Hedgecox. Kevin Simpson falling back a little bit from this battle. He's still got Josh Wachinski on his tail, but looks like they've dropped Dave Mininoa off the back, and Caleb Lehman looks like our biggest loser through the pit cycles. He's fallen all the way back to 5th place now.
Yeah, Caleb having himself, it looks like he was about 2 seconds longer in the stall than Matt Stadnik, and 3 seconds longer, in the pit lane than Jack Hedgecox. So, you know, that it's not necessarily what you do on track. You've got to put it all together.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, Rich. Sometimes you want to just take that little bit extra fuel to make sure you get to the end and sacrifice a position or two for it. Now he's still in the top five, holding down the final spot in the top five. Dave Menino behind him would love to take that spot away, but nothing to shake a stick at for a top five. But no doubt, starting on the front row, Caleb Lehman was hoping for possibly something a little better.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate. I'm sure he's disappointed. I'd be thrilled to be in the top five, but if you come in the pit lane when you're in second and you come out in fifth, that's never a good thing. But J.R. Williams back up to eighth place after that early turn one incident, going wide off track at Horseshoe. Lost himself, I think, about 10 or 12 positions there, maybe more. And J.R. Williams back in the hunt. J.R. chasing down Nick Owen at this stage.
Yeah, nice recovery by him so far. Got himself up into eighth place, as you mentioned. I think last count that I saw when he lost position, he was down to 15th or 16th. So nice recovery by him. Looks like after the pit stops, he was able to pick up a couple more positions too as well. But putting a ton of pressure on Nicholas Gone. He's actually only, say, about 2 seconds or so back of that Lehman-Meninoa battle too as well. So we know Williams has the pace, sitting it on pole. Let's see if he can continue to push forward as his teammate Caleb Lehman not too far down the track.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing start, but he's looking for a strong finish. Pick it back up. Caleb Lehman here. Caleb Lehman with Dave Menino right behind him. Then behind them, we've got a couple of more drivers, Nicholas Go and J.R. Williams. So, a couple little battles of 2 by 2 by 2, and it's going to be interesting with these last 9 minutes how things shape out. Once again, coming up through Snake, we got Matt Stadnick, Jack Edgecoats, these two drivers battling it out nose to tail for the last several laps ever since the pit cycles ended. Jack applying a tremendous amount of pressure to Matt Stadnick. Matt Stadnick not blinking yet.
Yeah, if anything, we've seen that it's going to be tough to rattle Matt Stadnick from what we've seen over the last couple of seasons from him. I actually found out, I was reading through chat the other day, I think Matt Stadnick said he's only been on iRacing for about a year and a half, maybe a little over a year, if I remember correctly. So, excellent.
Man, people piss me off, Rob. I'm just telling you right now. I'm just telling you, like, what am I supposed to do here? Congratulations, Matt. Just kidding you. You're doing a fabulous job, and we love watching you do that.
Looks like something happened to Colin McKenzie here moments ago. Let's see if we can pick up what happened to him. Oh, interesting there. Looks like it's kind of snapped around on him. Didn't look like the tires dropped into the grass at all. Maybe there's some marbles out there, or maybe a little bit of debris, but that Acura just kind of snap hooked around on him.
It almost looked like the back end started bouncing a little bit when he hit the curbs. And like you said, the back end just came around. He was still on the track, so rather unusual. But we're going to go back here with David Morse. David Morse, Team SRTE Blue, is falling a lot behind Herbert Pineda, the battle for 25th position. Yes, we've got battles up and down the field, 25th position, 24th position. We've got battles going all the way back, Rob. We still got guys, we got 35 cars still on the lead lap.
Yeah, it don't matter what position you're in, Rich. Battle the guys around you. Every point matters. But David Morse trying to make... Herbert Pineda going to go off wide. Into the tire wall. That front end of that car was already hurt, and it's definitely done now. That right front suspension not working at all. He's going to have to tow it back. I don't think he's going to be able to drive it back to the shop, unfortunately.
Yeah, that looks terminal. Just a couple corners to go. Herbert Pineda out of this race at this stage. But Dave Menino is having himself a good race. He's really applying some pressure to Caleb Lehman. Good little battle going on. 5th place here.
As they head into Oak Tree, similar lines running through, and then there's Goen and Williams not too far behind. They're working together trying to chase down that duo up ahead. As right now, Kevin Simpson, Joshua Chinsky up the road, working in through some lap traffic. They've gotten around the lap car of Mark File in before NASCAR and Hogpen, so it'll be interesting to see as Lehman and Meninoa come up on him next, if that plays a role in that battle.
Yeah, so far we haven't seen too many issues with the lap traffic. Throttle Freaks has, they kind of follow the rules similar to Formula One, as opposed to some other racing series. If you are a lap down and you are in the way, you are obligated to get out of the way, else be penalized. So the drivers so far doing a great job of that.
Yeah, we see Caleb Lee even getting the razzle dazzle there to lap car Mark File, let him know he's coming through.
While he's doing that, looking at Dave Menino really, really closing up tight. We're going to follow along. We got Caleb Lehman still leading along. Caleb Lehman leaving and Dave Menino. J.R. Williams in behind with Nicholas Goen. They are separated by lap traffic. So really we've got two car battles with a little lap car in between. J.R. Williams giving the razzle dazzle to Mark File. Mark File very, very sportsmanlike, moving out of the way in the difficult section to pass. Thank you, Mark.
Razzle dazzle is a universal language, Rich. It don't matter what language you speak, you get the high beams coming at you. You know you're either at the ballet. I'll use the term the ballet, or the you're on the highway and somebody wants to go by. But Matt Stadnick now still holding steady under the pressure from Jack Hedgecoats. As time's starting to run out on Hedgecoats, potentially only 2, maybe 3 laps, depending what time they cross the start finish line here now. So it's time to go for Jack Hedgecoats. He needs to really put some pressure on the back of Stadnick if he wants to take away that position.
Yeah, I think at this stage, Rob, my calculation shows they're going to get to 26 laps. We'll see if my calcs are right. I'm not the best mathematician, but I am a computer programmer, so we shall see. Matt Stadnick, fabulous race. Jack Hedgecoats does not want it to end the way it is right now. These two cars have broken away, and they are looking for, it's just only one of these guys can get the victory. The other guy's going to get second unless something catastrophic happens. Kevin Simpson right now sitting in third.
Yeah, someone's always left with tears, Rich. It never fails. Only one guy can win. Everybody else is the first loser, second loser, and on down the back. But really, there's no losers. When you're out here playing video games for fun, everybody's a winner. Speaking of the winners, our biggest mover of the day is still Andrew Trickett. Got himself up 15 spots now, just outside of the top 15, firmly into 17th place. So well done by him. I think unofficially he might be our Driver of the Day award winner right now, Rich. Strong showing by him. We'll see if he's able to potentially chase down Joshua Spears, as Spears and Berkowitz just ahead of him. That could make him a nice finish in the top 15 if he can get that done.
Yeah, Andrew Trickett having a fabulous race in a fabulous looking car, might I add. He's really applying pressure to Joshua Spears. Joshua Spears, a little disappointing with that earlier incident, but not really wanting to give out the position. But Andrew Trickett saying, "Hey, I've got this many spots. Let's get 16 instead of 15."
Yeah, that's right. What's 16 or what's 15 when you can have 16, 17, or 18, Rich? Just keep adding them up. They all count as you go.
Yeah, he's definitely kept the pace up and done a great job. Jack Hedgecoats has gotten by Matt Stadnick. We missed that. We'll try and get a replay in a little bit, but wow, we got just under 2 laps to go, and let's see what happens here. Is it coming through the bend?
Stadnick loose.
A little loose, and a little bit of nose may have gotten to the back once Matt got a little loose, and Jack Hedgecoats taking advantage of that, moving up into the lead.
Now, I might have cursed Stadnick earlier whenever I said we've seen that he's been fairly calm under pressure the season and a half to this point that we've been watching him race. So it'll be interesting now to see what kind of pressure he can put on Hedgecoats as the rabbits now become the dog trying to chase down the rabbit ahead. We'll see how Hedgecoats can deal with that pressure too as well, as they're heading to, looks like the start finish line, potentially 2 more laps here, Rich. We'll have to see, but actually, sorry, they already crossed it over. So this could be the final lap here. We'll have to take a look, see if we can catch if Barney's been waving the white flag or not. But
I think they've got one more, Rob. We shall see, though.
One more?
I believe we've got one more going on here. Let me just take a look and do some more mental math by this mental patient here. My calculations show they are going around for one more lap. They're going to do 26 laps, I believe.
You're correct, Barney. Unless he's on strike, not waving that white flag. So we'll see here. Leaders heading down the back straight. Stadnick falling back a little bit from Hedgecoats, not quite close enough to make a move, although that gap closing quickly. The draft were fairly strong as they headed up the hill there. Stadnick thought about going to the left, darted back to the right. Hedgecoats going to hold on to that position now as they head through Hogpen. Couple more corners to go. They come around to finish up lap 25. It's going to be real close here, Rich. Your calculations were right on the nose, as with about 10 seconds to go, they're going to cross the line.
Yeah, and that's might make it interesting for some other drivers with this extra lap than they anticipated when they went and took fuel. Let's see if everybody got enough fuel to make this last lap, Rob.
Hopefully they did. One of the drivers we saw with a quicker lap time, but as you mentioned, most of it was getting in and off the pits, was Jack Hedgecoats. So let's see. It's going to come down to who potentially might have enough fuel and who might not, as Stadnik trying to find a way around Hedgecoats. Hedgecoats trying to make that already massive BMW even wider than it already is. That thing's like trying to pass a bus on the city streets, Rich. The Porsche just kind of looks miniature in beside it, but Stadnik doing all he can, trying to put some pressure on Hedgecoats. Hedgecoats trying to hold on to that position in through the S's, or the snake into the S's. It's going to be interesting to see potentially if Hedgecoats bobbles like we saw Stadnik last lap.
Yeah, it's going to be imperative the exit that Jack Hedgecoats gets out of Oak Tree. Both drivers using all the track and then some going through bend, and looks like Matt Stadnik applying a tremendous amount of pressure. Jack Hedgecoats, though, getting a very good exit out of Oak Tree. Matt Stadnik trying to close it down. There's only a few corners left. I don't know if he's got enough. He's a little bit too far behind right now to take advantage of this draft. He's going to need a mistake from Jack Hedgecoats here.
Yeah, it's going to take a hell of a send by Stadnik or a mistake by Hedgecoats to do it, but it looks like Hedgecoats going to hold on to that spot. Only a couple corners to go. Stadnik trying to put the pressure on him, but unfortunately he's going to run out of time unless he gets a massive run out of the final straight or a bobble from Hedgecoats. Off to the line they go. Jack Hedgecoats going to take round 4 VIR. He's weaving across the front. Hopefully that's not to try and get fuel into the pickup, but looks like he's going to make it. A little razzle-dazzle for the fans. Nicely done by him. Kevin Simpson going to bring it home, 3rd spot, just ahead of Joshua Chinsky. He's able to hold off the pressure from Chinsky in the end. J.R. Williams, our pole sitter, going to recover up to 7th. So nice recovery by him. Got a bit of a drag race here down the back stretch into Hogpen between Seb Goche and Jay Steffi. Goche's going to get around Steffi. It looks like Venaro going to get around too as well. Looks like Steffi might be out of fuel.
Yeah, he's moving back quick, and Jay Steffi, that extra lap caught him out, it looks like.
And just ahead of Jason Park. Looks like Park going to give him a little bit of a boost to the line. A gentleman racer right there. Give him a little boost and then pass him for the line. No real positions lost here for either driver.
Are they teammates, there. Rob? I don't remember.
I'm not sure. Hold on here. They are a pair of Motorsports teammates here getting across the line, but looks like Jensen and Pancari are going to snatch away those positions at the end. Colin McKenzie and Pete Mejia, unfortunately, were not able to do that at the end as well. But that's what teammates are for, Rich.
Yeah, I think they did a little bit of math there and figured out losing a position or two for one driver was better than losing 20 positions for the other driver. So follow along. Robert Jeffries coming across the line in 28th place. Robert Jeffries up 13 positions on the day. Great job, Robert.
Yeah, nicely done by him. As we see, looks like Sean Provo heading to the line, potentially out of fuel too as well. Looks like Pastor and Peterson going to make it around him. A lot of drivers really pushing the fuel envelope here today, Rich.
Yeah, that one extra lap, those drivers up front were just about 5 seconds too fast for these guys, because if that lap didn't happen, there would have been none of this, Rob, and that made for an interesting finish.
No doubt, as it looks like our final driver has crossed the line. It's going to make our race official here, and let's take a look at the final results. As you saw, Jack Hedgecoat's going to take the win. Half a second over Matt Stadnik. Kevin Simpson rounds out the podium. Joshua Chinsky, our top Pro-Am driver, comes home in 4th. Menino in 5th. Lehman and Williams round out the top 7. Nicholas Gowen in P2 for Pro-Am. David Bush III put himself up into 3rd spot in Pro-Am. Hillman, Gowen, and Berquist are going to take top spot in AM. And then we'll quickly scroll through the rest of the standings here. I'm going to apologize now. We don't have a whole lot of time for interviews tonight. I've got to take care of my daughter, who unfortunately fell off of her horse at horseback riding today. And we got to take her in for a little bit of care. So we'll quickly get through some interviews here. We'll just have a quick talk we'll bring in Jack Hedgecoats, our winner Jack, well done. You kept the pressure on Matt Stadnick right to the very end, forced a mistake by him in through the S's. Is that what you had envisioned coming down to the line?
Well, yeah, I knew he was worse than me through that South Bend corner. Like, he was always having to back it up. I think it was just mainly his car. I assume, we were talking before, and he was saying his tires were pretty cooked by that point. So I knew I was better. I mean, it's hard to pass. So I mean, well, I'll take it either way. If I have to pass him or if he makes a mistake, I'll take it. A win's a win. So, but no, I'm just glad to get my first win in this league.
Excellent stuff. We head to Misano next week, a track that seems like most iRacers don't really like the track all that much. How you feeling to head into that track?
I've actually done some league racing before around that track, but it was drenched, super wet. But I definitely have raced there enough, so I feel like I'll do good. I thought I was gonna be mowing lawns this week, and here I am on the win. So, I'll maybe I'll keep it up and do some concrete service or some sanding, and we'll see where I end up next week over there.
Excellent stuff. Best of luck to you next week, Jack, and we hope to see you back at the sharp end of the field.
Appreciate it, guys.
Take care. So that was our overall winner, Jack Hedgecox. Let's bring in quickly Joshua Chinsky, our winner in the Pro-Am side of things, to have a chat with Rich.
Joshua, congratulations. Great race tonight.
Thank you, Rich. Yeah,
it was
it was awesome. It was a great race. I mean, the entire time just battling. I honestly thought that Kevin was going to try and drive away from me, but I realized pretty quickly that everybody was kind of doing a little bit of fuel saving there in that first stint. I was like, you know what? I will just stay in line and see what happens there at the end. Thought I had the edge on him strategy-wise. Thought I was saving a bit more fuel, but ended up misjudging pit entry a little bit. That caused me to slow down too much, and ended up right back behind him when I left the pits.
Yeah, well, it didn't look like running the Corvette, who you've said before is a little bit down on top end. It hurt you at VIR. Looked like Corvettes did quite well tonight, actually, and congratulations. We're going to have to cut it a little short tonight, Joshua. Anybody you'd like to shout out?
I just want to shout out SRT. As always, you guys push me to race as hard as I can, especially here. I didn't feel like I had the pace. Shout out to my parents for watching. Appreciate all the support that you guys give me. And shout out to the sponsors, Penn Station East Coast Subs and Lifestyle Integrations. I appreciate everything that you guys do to let me run the leagues I do. And lastly, shout out to Throttle Freaks and then you guys with Pit Road Productions. Appreciate the show you guys put on, and I can't wait to watch it.
Awesome. Congratulations once again. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, Rich.
So that was our our winner in Pro-Am. Let's have a quick chat with, we'll bring Nicholas. Nicholas. We'll bring in, who was the winner? Alex Hillman, our top AM driver. Alex, nice job out there. Top AM driver, also in the top 10 firmly. How did your race go from your side of things?
Oh, went good. I just kind of kept my head down, got in the lead when I think Josh spun on the first lap, then made a mistake going to Oak Tree, but then just kind of kept my head down, just hoping he'd make another mistake, and turned out he did, and I got the lead and just kind of held it from there.
Excellent stuff. We head to Misano next week. It's a track that a lot of people don't really have much familiarity with. Have you done many laps there in any cars?
I don't even own it, so that'd be something I'm buying and doing a lot of practicing this week.
Excellent stuff. We know where to find you this week then, getting ready for next week. But anybody you want to shout out here, Alex, before we let you go?
Just SRT team. They've helped me out a lot this week with working on my braking just to get faster this track and hopefully faster all the rest of them.
Perfect. Great stuff. Hopefully we see you back up at the front again next week, Alex.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Best of luck. Okay, that was our top AM driver. That's going to do it for this week here, Rich. Again, apologies to all the drivers in the interview booth. We'll catch you next week. If we didn't get you this week, by all means, pop in next week. We'll have a quick chat with you. But until then, I am Rob Campbell. With me in the booth, Richard Swindells. We'll catch you next week for round 5, the halfway mark of the season at Misano. Till then.
Good night.